it's Brian and I'm back with our series called Pain in the Brain. As you can see here, you might ask, hey, what qualifies you to talk about this stuff? Well, I've been studying pain neuroscience and how our brain functions with our body to produce better movement and better performance, yes, but also to get out of pain since about 2016. Also have personal experience with chronic pain in ankles, knees, back, and a shoulder. Also due to a shoulder surgery and opiate prescription and chronic pain, and also some really stupid decisions personally, been addicted to opiates. And so I've seen kind of the rough and the really negative side of chronic pain. And so motivated to help people, first of all, with the education side, and that's why we do this for free. And then also in practice, as a brain-based practitioner, I help in some unique ways that a lot of other approaches don't go quite as in depth on. One thing is we're input focused, so we focus on helping people with better inputs, feeling in their body in different areas better, and also a reflexive kind of reboot of the nervous system called PRRT. So if you're curious about that, I'd love to talk more about it. But today, just covering some basics, because the education alone can really be liberating and helpful in terms of helping people that are dealing with pain start to move towards a better road for healing and recovery. So basics here, day one, part one, pain is always a construct of the brain. So pain always involves the brain, and there's also not just one pain center in the brain. That organ gets lit up in multiple areas, somewhere between 11 to 13 different brain areas are involved in a chronic pain experience. So it affects a whole lot going on in the central nervous system, and especially the brain itself. Also, outputs or pain itself is an output, and that's based on the sum of all inputs. So it's an output based on all the incoming information from the body, from our different senses, even like thoughts and emotions play into that somewhat. And then our attitudes and beliefs are also important, because we don't just have inputs coming in, we're continuously interpreting those inputs and deciding what to do about them. And our brain has been trained based on information, past experiences, to interpret in a certain way. So I'll give you an example of that in a second. But the interpretation then will sometimes, when deemed necessary by the individual and by their organ, the brain, create an output that we experience then as a pain signal. So it's a switch in thinking, but this is current pain neuroscience. If you don't believe me, you just need to look at some of the most up-to-date neuroscience educators in the world and the research that's coming out. The last piece here, talking about and thinking through that interpretation, if we take two individuals side by side, one is an average Joe, he's never been in a fight. The other is a boxer who's been hit. Maybe he's an experienced boxer who's done pretty well at it and been in the game for, 30, 40 fights. And he's been hit in the face and trained to be hit in the face so much that when he gets hit once, if it's not that, it's not the knockout punch, he might have a far different experience. Like, oh, hey, yeah, I just got hit and I'm gonna keep fighting. And maybe there's a minimal to a little bit of a pain experience for that person. Then you take the average Joe who's never been hit and they get punched, they're gonna have far more likelihood that there is a significant output called pain that comes about from getting punched in the face. And so two different people, individual experiences, and we'll get into this later in the series, but pain is also individual. So hopefully this helps you. Hopefully it's a little bit of a paradigm shift and also a stimulus to maybe dig a little bit deeper into what's actually current in the science literature. And hopefully this, last 10, 20 years of neuroscience research is going to start to revolutionize how we look at pain and how we actually help the person that is dealing with that experience, especially if it's chronic. So remember to subscribe to the channel. We are going to continue to bring you free neuroscience education videos, and love to do it. And also to Couple references if you're curious more about this stuff and you just want to go read a good book on it. Explain Pain, and then Explain Pain Supercharged is the updated version by the NOI group. And they are physical therapists and guys in the neuroscience world that are out teaching this stuff, writing books on it, and staying current on the research. And I think actually doing some of the research too. So check them out, and then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks.